Hi, I'm Sean Moore and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're making the ultimate turkey chili. This ultimate turkey chili recipe is packed with so much flavor to the point where you'll say, beef who? In addition to this masterpiece, I can't imagine any other side besides a moist slice of cornbread. Cornbread which has a delicate crumb and enough sweetness to match. You will not be disappointed. If you haven't subscribed to Cooking with Taste, then take the time to do so. Okay, let's get started. To make our ultimate turkey chili, we will obviously need ground turkey. I have 2 pounds of 93% lean turkey, which I'll use a tip courtesy of the American Test Kitchen. The key is baking soda. Half a teaspoon will do, along with 1 tablespoon of water. What the baking soda does is lower the pH of proteins, which would allow them to brown more effectively. Because I'm using such a lean meat, this trick is quite handy. And no, your food would not taste like baking soda. Just disperse the solution evenly throughout your ground turkey, and let's move on to the next step. Okay, in my large Dutch oven set on medium-high heat, pour in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Next comes the turkey. Drop in half your ground turkey to the Dutch oven and try not to overcrowd the pot. You want a well-developed crust, which adds an extra flavor profile to this dish. While the turkey is searing, season your meat with a healthy pinch of kosher salt. After around the 3 to 4 minute mark, it should be a good time to flip your meat. Another tip that I learned from the America's Test Kitchen: you don't need to brown all your ground meat in batches. The flavor isn't that significant, and we're saving time. Just break up your meat, and let's move on to the vegetables. I like a milder chili, so I'm using some bell peppers, which I'll slice on each corner. Cut your bell peppers into strips and chop them roughly. Repeat the same steps to your red bell pepper. If you prefer a spicier chili, definitely use a jalapeno, serrano, or even a Fresno chili. All will be delicious. Moving on to our garlic, which I'm cutting off the bottom ends and smashing them to remove the papery skin. Now, let's cut the ends off of a large sweet onion and score the outer layers. Slice your onion down the middle and give it a rough dice. Your knife skills might be better than mine, but let's work with the skills that we got. While we're here, let's mince our garlic clove and put everything aside. Okay, back to our turkey. Pour in 1 tablespoon or so of olive oil, and let's move on to our spices. I have half a teaspoon of red chili flakes, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 3 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and another heavy pinch of salt. Disperse your spices throughout the meat, and because the spices are fat soluble, you will need an extra tablespoon or so of oil to bloom those spices. Now we're ready for the next step, the vegetables. Drop in your quarter sheet of vegetables and blend it with the entire turkey and spices. Optionally, you can pour in a half a cup of red blend wine and let it reduce. For added freshness, I'm chopping up the stems of a handful of cilantro, which has so much flavor. Use these stems to your advantage. While we're here, let's toss in our garlic. Keep stirring your fragrant pot of deliciousness until the herbs are incorporated. Here comes the controversial ingredient for chili. I have 1 50-ounce can each of pinto beans, kidney beans, and black beans, which I believe they belong in chili. Just give your canned beans a quick drain, maybe a rinse, and drop them to the pot. Repeat these steps with all the cans. If you're eating a plant-based diet, then you can totally omit the turkey altogether and use beans as the star. The dish will still feel very rewarding, I promise you that. Stir the pot again, drop your lid, and let's move on to our liquid ingredients. I have a 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes. Crushed tomatoes work just as well too. You can either squeeze the tomatoes with your hands or use a stick blender, which I love. You have complete control over the chunkiness of the tomato. Pour in your tomato sauce and back that up with a half a can of water. I also like a heavy splash of Worcestershire sauce and some soy sauce for extra depth. You cannot forget about your bay leaves. And I should have added this earlier, but a couple tablespoons of tomato paste. Close the lid and simmer the chili for 50 minutes. Now, let's talk about our side. We have our basic ingredients for our boxed cornbread mix. I'm using Jiffy's and I will not stray much from the instructions. Just crack your 2 eggs into the bowl and next come the half and half, and give all of that a good whisk. Let's open our Jiffy boxes, which is my favorite brand of cornbread mix. My family loves it too. It's sweet and super moist, basically similar to a cake. Let me know if you use Jiffy's or any other brand cornbread mix. Stir out any of the lumps, and this is where we're going to add on to the recipe. Some people add an extra tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to add in a couple tablespoons of coconut palm sugar, which is a lower glycemic sugar. Stir that in and let's adjust for thickness. Okay, done. This part is key. Pull out a seasoned cast iron skillet and drop in 1 tablespoon or so of canola or vegetable oil, plus 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter. Preheat that skillet in a 425-degree Fahrenheit oven until the butter is browned. This step is optional, but this is what my mom does. She would add small cubes of chilled butter into the batter, so it will all melt into the cornbread. Okay, my skillet is ripping hot. And while the skillet is still hot, pour in your batter, like so. That hot skillet will create a crust around the cornbread, which is so satisfying. Place your skillet back in the oven until the cornbread is golden brown and delicious, which should take about 30 minutes or so. While that's going, I want to chill out with a cocktail, which has 4 ingredients plus ice. Drop 4 ice cubes to your shaker, pour in a full jigger or so of rye whiskey, 4 splashes of orange bitters, plus the juice of half a lime, which you can adjust everything to your palate. Stir your cocktail around or shake it if you want. And I like to balance the flavor with some ginger beer. Again, you can make it as strong or tamed as you like it. Strain out the ice if you want. Give your cocktail a taste and make any last-minute adjustments. Okay, my cornbread is ready. Just pull it out of the oven and immediately slather that cornbread with more butter. Make sure the butter gets around the top and the edges of the cornbread. This step is totally optional, but feel free to slather on some honey. Now for the moment of truth. After 50 minutes or so of cooking, we now have a luscious and super hearty turkey chili. My kitchen smells so lovely right now. The only adjustment that I'll make is adding a fresh squeeze of lime juice, but that's it. If you want any extra toppings, then here is my top list. You have to have fresh avocado, super healthy and fatty. Extra sharp cheddar cheese for its sharp flavor. Blue corn chips for that crunchy texture. Gotta have chopped onions. And last but not least, fresh cilantro leaves. I have not forgot about my super moist cornbread over here. This thing cuts like butter. Just let me shut up and let you guys see this for yourself. My. Say this with me. I deserve to treat myself, and I will not feel bad about it. Amen. And just like that, we accomplished the best way to make turkey chili. The ultimate way. It's spicy, it's sweet, and everything in between is meat. Meat that commands attention, but catering to your tummy, which I should mention. If it's the best you want, then it's the best you'll get. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll give you a tool to challenge your wits. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.
Not so much worse. All right.